But great. So big pivot in your career. You've come from financial background. You've gone to a startup in the finance area that's then been acquired, and now moved into a construction tech company in fleet management. This must have been a huge change of pace. What's been the challenges and the motivations for this?
I think the key motivation from start is that moving into construction and doing a construction tech startup was like, it was a lot more of a conscious decision than when I moved into the fintech startup. Before the fintech startup, I was a banker at Morgan Stanley, and that was more or less the only world that I knew. When I got into the fintech, it was more like, just very, very straightforward. It just made a lot of sense then. But the construction move was a lot more conscious decision. And I really felt like now in construction, it's pretty cool to come in with a fresh piece of eyes. We can bring new perspectives. It's extremely nice to be a noob at something because you can ask a lot of stupid questions, and people are actually more than willing to kind of let you know how they do their work, what they think are good or bad or whatever. So it's just a very kind of nice start into a new area that you know very little about. And also kind of getting back to the rationale is that there is such a big opportunity in construction. It's a huge industry. It's been lagging in productivity for perhaps decades, maybe because of low digitalization, and people are just I wouldn't say easy to impress, but they are definitely not spoiled with having really good software handed to them. So to me, it's just it's an industry that is a huge opportunity. I have the opportunity to come in with fresh eyes, bring new perspectives, and be a noob. And I'm going to continue being a noob for many years to come. Kind of pull that card and use that to my benefit. It's really fun.
Oh, brilliant. And I love that, because when you're moving into a new industry and, to use your phrase, asking the stupid questions, people love being able to tell you what has or hasn't been working for them. And if you can bring something that's going to help them, of course, they're going to want to help you on that journey.
People love to talk about their job and what they're good at and their problems.
Of course. I mean, you've had me talking about LMRE far many times in the past, but we'll keep that for another time. But I suppose one aspect on our last conversations, we're talking about these questions you've asked. Now, you were saying in and around Sweden, you've got a very tight-knit group of startups. You all seem to be innovating in different areas, but offering assistance. What's been the best piece of advice you've been given when you were moving into this?
I don't know if it's specifically one piece of advice, but I think that a lot of Swedes in the tech industry or in the startup industry, we have confidence that it is possible to build global companies from Sweden. Sweden is a really small country, but it is a front runner in digitization, in regulation, and we are also a very kind of we are a people that travel a lot. We live in a small country. The weather is pretty shitty most of the year. It's pretty dark for very long periods, and we love to travel. So we've seen, very big portions of the world, and as a result of that, also we are a big export country. Yeah. So it boils down to we have confidence that it is possible to build really, really big companies like Spotify, H&M, Skype, Klarna, etc., etc. The list goes on.
Yeah, no, it's an impressive Rolodex of impressive companies there, and as you can tell with the English accent, but the Scottish surname, we're not quite as cold or as dark as Sweden, but it's just not fun being surrounded by terrible weather. We don't quite get as cold as you over there. And you've been growing, obviously, locally, focusing on the Nordic markets. And I understand you're now pushing the boundaries into different regions. What have you found so far as being the main challenge of going into perhaps the UK or other countries?
I mean, digitization and data is a prerequisite for improved efficiency and sustainability in the construction industry.
Yeah.
And the main difficulty or the main challenge for this is that it must be communicated and understood by so many different stakeholders in many languages. So I would say that's the key challenge. We also want to or have to solve direct problems for users to achieve the bigger goals, such as a reduced lead time. Because we can't talk, if I take a step back, I think the power in the industry is very fragmented. It doesn't sit at the HQ in the same way that the power sits in the HQ in other industries. It's a lot more fragmented. So there are many times more users in each organization that has power in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to sell the benefits to all of those people the same way that you will sell the benefits to a board or a management group or something of that kind. So you have to solve direct problems for those users, and then those solutions have to be stepping stones towards the bigger goal. That is also a challenge, not only internationally but also in Sweden.
Yeah. Interesting. And has it been outside of Nordics? Is it the UK, or are we looking more the DACH region? What's the main focus for you looking over the next 12 months or so?
Yeah, so it's going to be the first countries or markets outside of Sweden is going to be the UK and Denmark.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, when you have, as a startup nowadays, you have limited resources. You have to be really rational and smart about how you use those resources. And then obviously, I mean, one difficulty or one challenge going to other countries is the language barrier. We don't really have that language barrier when we come to the UK. I mean, you tell me if you can understand what I'm saying, but I assume you understand most what I'm saying, even though
I'm
it's
following it so far.
well, we in Sweden we call it Swinglish. It's like you
Okay.
have a very Swedish accent, but I think the words that I say are more or less correct. So just eliminating or mitigating the language barrier is one key component, and that's why UK is a good market for us. It's also, of course, a size thing. The UK market is 5 to 10 times larger than the Swedish market, and it's a springboard to both the US and continental Europe.
No, interesting. And I'm never going to be one to judge your use of English when stereotypically you should hear me try to say anything in a foreign accent. It's outrageous. So over the next 12 months then, is this the goal? Is it to, compound and build on your local successes and perhaps use English speaking markets as a springboard to push it further across Europe?
Yeah, exactly. So concretely, two things is on the agenda, and that is proving the model in the UK with like a clear product market fit and a paying customer or paying customers. And then the second thing is to, in Sweden and the UK, sign big deals, onboard those deals, and then grow revenue as a result of that. On a more fluffy basis, which is at least as important, it's about communication of the importance of digitizing to achieve efficiency and sustainability. And the product focus will continue to be on ease of use.
Yeah.
Like lowering the bars or barriers for the users to actually really love to use our product when they are in the way that they are stuck now, or in the way of working that they have been stuck now for decades, and that they are kind of familiar and comfortable with, can actually be using pen, paper, a mobile phone, and a whiteboard. And now suddenly we are telling them that they should use a software.
Yeah.
That software has to be so intuitive, intelligent, connecting, collaborative, and all those things. But a lot of, I mean, the users in many cases, they just want to have it, what do you say? a softer work day. You want to go home early or grab more coffees than they do, have less stress, spend less time on the phone. It's not about sustainability or efficiency or reducing logistics costs. They don't really honestly care about that. They care about having a nicer workday. So the focus on the user level is going to continue to be at the ease of use and usability.
Definitely. That echoes with lots of people we speak with. Moving into this construction sector, it's one of the oldest industries in the world, one of the most pollutant, one of the most dangerous to work in. And it's getting adoption sorted, making the user interface intuitive and easy is the majority of the battle, because the product and what you're offering is brilliant. But if it doesn't make sense for Joe Blogs to plug it into his ERP system and go, oh, cool, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then you're constantly going to be churning and battling against trying to train people.
Yeah, exactly. And communication is going to be so important here, and it's a communication across the whole spectrum, from the management on boardrooms down to the users in the warehouse or in the truck or wherever. We have to find the right balance in the communication across the whole spectrum, and that's extremely important. And we have to do it more or less at the same time, like in parallel.
Yeah, well, you're doing well so far, and I've seen the demos, and it does look plug and play. Look, just follow my lead. This is going to work for you. So let's see how that goes further.
Yeah.
Moving slightly adjacent to this, then, look, a bit about you. First of all, did you take your glasses off so we didn't look like brothers? Was that the plan?
Yeah.
Because I realise we've definitely gone in tune with that here.
Yeah.
I've been asked this recently, obviously with the Olympics being so huge and on a good time zone for us. But if you could wake up tomorrow and be a silver medalist at any of the Olympic sports, ignoring the money aspects, don't say football because you'll be a millionaire, or golf or anything. Which sport? If you could be, number two, because let's not be too brash here, number two, silver medalist, any single one of them, who are you picking?
No, it's going to be surfer, wave surfing.
Why? Just because it's cool?
Yeah, it's cool, and you get a really nice body.
Yeah, see, that I'm thinking with the body aspect. I'm thinking gymnastics, because if I trip over, I'd like to be able to do like somersaults down the stairs and land on my feet and look good, but also look fantastic when I'm getting out the swimming pool on holiday.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, you get a tan, you're ripped.
True.
You can keep your balance. You have to. You get to be in really kind of nice, exotic, tropical environments all day. I think that you can't get much better than that.
You get the wavy, beached hair, but the first point of that, the tan, I've got Scottish skin, so I'd get burnt.
Yeah,
I'd
you're
be
screwed.
Uncomfortable. I'd have an outrage. I'd have a mortgage on Factor 50 sun cream. And I'm not the strongest swimmer either, so I think that's a bad one for me to wake up to.
Cool. I thought we were actually doing this as a hypothetical thing, not like a realistic thing, but okay.
I'm just, you know what? I get carried away in my head, and I'm now thinking of, the pros and cons of each one.
You start getting way too realistic now, man.
I always do.